You're not their dad, but you do set the tone. Hi, my name is Jesse, and this is Valiant Lifestyle. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to discipline without division, and rules every dad needs in order to do that. And you don't need rules, but it is nice to have some support and to have some structure, guidelines, whatever you want to call it. You find the label. Before I get into any of that, though, I want to welcome you to the channel. Hi. Welcome to the channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to invite you to subscribe. It's easy. Just hit the subscribe button wherever it is, and then hit all, the little bell that says all. And what that does is it allows all of my content to be available to you. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I love hearing about how you love my videos, and I even love hearing about some of the content and how I can encourage more men, more stepdads, more bonus dads to take action, to support. Because believe it or not, some of your wives, spouses, partners, significant others reach out to me and connect with me, and they ask me to talk about different subjects that might be relatable to what's going on in your household. Think about that. All right, discipline without division, and what every dad needs to hear, especially bonus dads. Let's go for it. Respect is mutual, not automatic. And that is a really good lesson that I learned right away when it comes to my bonus daughter. It was something that I needed to earn. And it wasn't that it didn't happen fairly quickly, but I expected that she was going to be respectful right out of the gate. Not so. In fact, it was more so a language that she formed with her mom, knowing that it was okay to trust another man that was within her circle, or going to be in her circle, going to be in her family, going to be a part of that. Now, I realize that's another conversation where we get to talk about denial, we get to talk about frustration, we get to talk about the infusion and diffusion that happens when children and new relationships come together. All right, don't demand what you haven't earned either, because there is a fraction of respect that is earned. It's like 6%, but the rest of it, my man, you gotta be consistent and you gotta be there. And that is the very fabric of respect that gets earned. Sticking to your guns no matter what, even if you're wrong, even if you make a wrong decision, be okay with it. Discuss rules with your spouse first. Discuss what your intentions are, because uncommunicated expectations are premeditated resentments. Rewind the tape. I'll say it again. Uncommunicated expectations are premeditated resentments. Unify before doing the enforcing part. Nothing looks worse when it comes down to respect, especially with the kids, when my wife and I aren't on the same page. And when we have, in front of the kids, said something that really didn't bode very well and looked really bad, and the kids would have, they didn't really know what to do. They felt terrible. They felt like they were contributors of it. They felt like they're not loved. It went sideways. It wasn't good. But what became of it was new ways, new strategies, new conversations that my wife and I have. When we do have little bickering moments or arguments, we suggest to one another, let's go in another room, or let's talk about this outside, or let's strategize about this a little bit before we broach it again. What that does is it affords us breathing room to be able to go, okay, this is what you mean, this is what I mean. An example of that, my wife and I were we were in the next province over in BC, we had decided that we were going to get these specific items for our kids. I told this story in another episode too. Same colors, they were similar shades of green, but they were slightly different. I wanted to get them because they were colors of my company for my daughter. She wanted to get those same colors for her daughter because they are of her favorite color as well. No kidding. What I did instead was said, okay, you know what? Even though this is a big deal for me, I'm good with this being okay and you having that particular color for your daughter, our bonus daughter, and it being okay because my daughter's going to be okay with whatever she gets. And she will be. She's very grateful when it comes to that stuff. Now, that doesn't happen every time that I do something like that, but what it does, my friends, is it's a very teachable moment, and it's a very loving and nurturing and leading moment. What I'm doing is I'm saying that it's okay to surrender to a choice where we can't come to an agreement. And the agreement coming to that agreement was me going, you know what? It doesn't matter which one. The happiness is the thing that matters to my daughter and daughters. So let that be the lesson that sinks in. Lead with curiosity, not criticism. Ask what's under the behavior. So, for instance, today tested a lot of my bandwidth. My goodness. Today was a great deal of patience. And I've been doing a lot of hard work. I really tested the upper limits of my patience today, and the straw that nearly broke the camel's back was when at the garage the mechanic said that they needed to keep my car overnight. Now immediately I go into this mindset where it's going to be an extra charge, it's going to cost me a lot more money. Instead, what I did was, you know what? I asked the CSR, the customer service rep, if I could go see what was taking place in the garage. I wanted to see it for myself. I went in there, so we're talking about behaviors here, and I talked to the tech, and I asked curious questions. Non-patronizing ones, but just curious ones. And I realized in that moment that they really needed some encouragement. And I really didn't want to be that one that just came across hammering them because they did something wrong. My car is older, and there's some things that I got to do to take better care of it. Got to take better care of it. They saw something that I didn't see. And what I did instead was I said, I trust you with my car. What you need right now is my hope and faith, right? And they both nodded. Their manager and the tech. I said, this car means a lot to me, and I have all the belief and trust in you that you're going to help me ensure that I get my wheels back tomorrow. And it was like this thing had lifted off them. This beautiful opportunity. Now, what I'm suggesting here is that this can happen with your kids too. I've noticed myself in situations with my kids as well where I've gone into a situation expecting to just really hammer on them or be really upset, and instead I've just said, it might be better just for me to cheer them on, be polite, and encourage them to keep going with whatever they were doing to get it done. See, criticism attacks somebody's worth. It attacks them not being enough. And what I'm encouraging you to do is lead with curiosity, because you will get more out of it when you learn about what's actually going on instead of creating the story in your mind. Now, I invite you to a deeper conversation with Coach Jesse. Go to thevaliantlifestyle.com and make that 30-minute complimentary call now. Go into that go to that website, valiantlifestyle.com, book that 30-minute complimentary call, and let's talk about support. Let's talk about how we can talk about you going into a situation where you don't erupt, where you don't rage, and when you do find yourself doing that, where you find more bandwidth for you. I love doing what I do, and I'm there for you. Thank you for watching. Let's do this.